This is the Lazy Money Machine, Graham Brown and Erik ten Haver. We're all about financial freedom, passive income, everything that goes in between. But whilst it may not be obvious what the connection is, let's talk about marriage.
No.
Your spouse.
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm going straight for the jugular, Erik.
Oh, wait. Let me put the music back on first. You need to get ready for this. Okay, let's talk about marriage.
All right, let's talk about marriage. Not your marriage, Erik.
Oh, not mine. Oh, okay.
Our marriages. Not me and Erik. We're not married. But, I mean, our marriages, generically, whoever our partner, significant other is, boyfriend, girlfriend, lifelong partner, whoever it may be. So there's an article in HBR, so Harvard Business Review. So it's a pretty weighty publication that came out this week. And it says, I'm just going to read the title, and then we'll sort of play from that title. And we'll dig a bit deeper into the article as we go on. But it says here, if you can't find a spouse who supports your career, stay single. Oh, you laugh.
Oh,
you laugh.
man.
Serious note. Yeah, there's a serious note. What are we talking about here? Do you think there's any sense in this? If you can't find a spouse who supports your career, it could be anything. It could be your business or your life dreams, right? If you can't find a spouse who supports your goals, I should say, stay single.
Wow. Well, to be honest, it's something that I've been thinking about myself sometimes. I'm happily married. I've got 3 kids. I wouldn't want to be single. But I do see, just as a thought experiment. I mean, I'm sometimes thinking, if I would not have the family, I would not be married. Would I live my life differently? But I think if you do what I do, especially, I mean, if I reflect on this in the most crucial part of my life, where I decided to move from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. At that point, my wife was super supportive, and I was more scared than she was. So I think, I don't think it only goes for your career. I think it's your goals, right? Especially in what you want to create in your life. And I think it's true. I mean, you need to be with somebody that can allow you to do this. And it goes both ways. I mean, it also goes for my wife and her passions, what she wants to do, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering. I mean, that story you talked about, the chapter where you leave your job and start your own business. This is something a lot of people in our Lazy Money Machine group face.
Yeah.
And how important it has. We always talk about surrounding yourself with the right people. Obviously, the most important person is your significant other. Your family, and how they think about that. I mean, I've met people who haven't had that support, and that's had a profound impact on them, because I think that probably is the biggest factor in their success long term, is their partner. Because if that partner is saying to them, wow, you know what, maybe this isn't working out, maybe you should go back and get a job. There are many opportunities to say that, isn't there? I mean, it's never like, okay, right, you've made it now, it's the end, you're successful, stamp of approval, you can go on and be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life. There's, as an entrepreneur, haven't you found that, even when you're successful, there's always moments when you weren't successful, it could all end, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it has ended a few times.
Right. I think every entrepreneur's faced that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how important was your wife in that situation when that happened?
Yeah, my wife always says, it's not the end of the world, So, and she's super relaxed about it. And I need that, because I'm like, too anticipating of what might happen, or if something goes wrong, I tend to look at the worst part of that, or what could happen, or what if we this, or what if we do that. And I think having somebody in my life that says, well, it's not the end of the world, we still have money, we can still move on. It's that really helps me, at least, that's for sure. And I could not imagine if I would have somebody that would be as stressed or as panicky as I would be. It would not be good.
Yeah, you don't need that, do you? And that's where it comes back to the article title. If you can't find a spouse who supports your career, stay single. because that will break you in that situation. I mean, my wife's dad was an entrepreneur, which is kind of rare in Japan.
Yes.
But he worked for himself. He ran his own antique book and scroll retail store. So, I wonder if that's an important factor, is that, it could be your wife, it could be your husband, whoever, but if they come from a family where that was a thing, it's so much easier to relate to that, isn't it, for them? But, if they come from a family which is a highly driven career family, it may be hard for them to see somebody take a massive risk because they have no point of reference, do they?
Yeah. I think one other thing that I thought about reading this is that what's also very important is that you're clear about your why.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean your passion or your deeper meaning for why you need to be in this life, but like for me now, doing this work, creating this content, doing the book, this is work where, we don't make money right away. And for me to start this and for me to write the book with you, it was very important for me to explain why this is important to me. It's important to me because, always wanted to do this. I feel like content creation is something that I'd like to do. There is a bit of an artist in me that I would like to let out by doing the interviews and doing the podcast, etc. And if you are clear about why you're doing certain things, then it's also easier for your partner, I think, to accept the time that you spend on it. I mean, if I wouldn't have done that, if I would have said, look, today I need 2 hours to speak to Graham, we need to record our podcast, we need to talk about some other things. If she doesn't know the why, it's hard for her to accept that, look, why do you need to spend 2 hours on the phone with a guy on the other end of the world?
Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on? So sometimes it's also that, I think, the communication and being clear about why you're doing what you want to do.
Then I guess we've got to flip this on its head, isn't it? If you're in that situation where you have strong life goals, a strong why, but you have a partner who's not supportive, you have to have that tough decision or that tough conversation. Either that person supports you or you find somebody else. That's really tough, isn't it? And I think people actually are in that situation from time to time, and people face that because even if you're clear on your why, they might not get it. I'm wondering how you go about that, because it's all very easy to have somebody support you, but what happens if they don't?
Yeah, I do think, though, that separating from that person is usually the easy way out. I would always think that, see if you cannot explain why you're doing what you're doing, and see if you cannot build like a joint plan for the future. Because everything fits in, right? I mean, a career is only one part of your life. Making money is one part of your life. Getting healthy, starting a company, whatever it is that you want to do in your life, it needs to be something that is a journey that you share together, right? And if you're both in agreement on the fact that you're going on that journey, then you're off to the races. But if the other person has a different view on where he or she would like to take her or his life, then you have a problem. And I think that's usually where it collides, right? The path that you try to do together is not the path that one of the partners would like to do.
Yeah.
And then I think you need to be honest to each other, saying, maybe we would both be happier if we pursue both our paths instead of trying to do something together that we're not happy with.
Yeah. You could. I think the important thing is not to say it's my way or the highway. I think that's a bad approach, isn't it? I think you can make some kind of, not a compromise, but you make an agreement. If they really don't get it, then you can say, hey, let me try this.
Yeah.
Give me a year, give me 2 years, and let's see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. And maybe it's a good thing that I don't continue it.
Yeah.
So that's, maybe not a bad thing that you have somebody who's bringing you back to reason, right? But, the best partnerships I've seen, and I mean partnerships and marriages, right, in this situation is where one partner, could be the husband, could be the wife, starts a business and the other partner keeps the day job because then you have that income coming in, and that gives the person starting the business time to make it work. That's the best setup I see, rather than the worst setup is where both partners quit their jobs and jump into a business, right? Where they have no money, both of them, right?
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Because that's, risk squared, if you like, and that's a bad situation. Okay, so, well, we talked about if your wife or your husband doesn't support your life goals, then maybe you need a new partner. Erik suggests that, maybe you can work it out. Maybe there's common ground in the middle. I'm a bit less forgiving. I just say you should walk.
Really?
But yeah, there you go. Interested to hear your comments. You can tweet us. You can respond to our email newsletter if you're on lazymoneymachine.com. If you're part of the group, Lazy Money Machine group, you can go and respond to this episode and let us know what you think. Because this is a real situation that not often the one that people talk about in the journey towards financial independence.
Yeah, but
thanks for joining us.
It's an important one. You're right. Sorry.
I know. It is an important one. Let's not forget. Let's double impress that point at the end. Yeah. We'll see you in the next episode.